What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzlies homer, Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Well, it was a terrible watch. This last game 4 in Minnesota, another protester, another terrible game by the good guys. And we're going back to Memphis 2-2. See y'all in Memphis.
Piano.
Grizz gang, go hard. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops, so secure. All up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat straight from Tennessee.
Now, I'm not going to lie. This isn't going to be a long one because it took me a while. Not that I was really pissed off about the loss. As you know, the Memphis Grizzlies lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves 118-119 in Minnesota in Game 4. It was a hard game to watch, very hard game to watch. So I just got a few observations from that game. And the number one observation from that game, I'll say the number one observation from that game is obviously Ja Morant is injured. So it looks like he's been injured ever since he took that knee to the thigh from Karl-Anthony Towns in Game 2. And he hadn't been the same since, which kind of explains his Game 3 and Game 4 performance. So luckily they have an extra day off before the next game, which will be Tuesday night. I think I'm correct on that. The next game will be Tuesday night, so obviously that's a good thing that they have an extra day off. And, his performance has said, and I told you last game that you have to watch out for how he starts the game, and he did try to pick up the pace in this game a little bit, but he just does not have the same burst that he normally has. And anybody who's watched him all season long, you know, I'm one of the biggest critics of players and performances, especially playoff performances, that there could ever be. And even I have to admit that after watching Ja Morant all season long, he ain't right in this game. He's had bad games before. He's had consecutive bad games before. But he's never had consecutive bad games where he's not been aggressive shooting the ball. So this is one of the things. He's tried to play distributor. He had 15 assists, only 2 turnovers, 8 rebounds. So he contributed, but he really wasn't himself. So that's obvious. But he did try to contribute, and he did try to play well, but his defense was horrible. I don't know if his defense is horrible because his lateral movement is affected by the injury. I don't know what it is, but his defense was horrible. That was the number one thing. But the number two thing is Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson Jr. has to be better. It's just flat out. It's not just the fouls. He's not doing anything other than being a rim protector. Occasionally when he's on the floor. 6 fouls in 23 minutes, unacceptable. At this point, I mean, we're 4 games into the playoffs now. Some things you have to get better. You just have to get better. There's no excuses. I don't even want to, the refs were horrible. But the refs are not the reason why you were in foul trouble. You were the reason you were in foul trouble. Most of the times, you are the reason you're in foul trouble. You just have to stop the stupid fouls. It's just point blank. You are not dependable right now to your teammates. And you put the rest of the team in a bind when you're not on the court. So Jaren Jackson has to be better. Now, otherwise, I would say another observation is DeAnthony Melton. It's time that we let him slide out of the rotation. I don't know what it is. It's just, I mean, if I guess the thing that you have to say, if you have heard this little clip from Draymond Green
everybody not made for the playoffs. And I don't know if y'all can see that around the league, but you look around the league, everybody just not cut out for the playoffs. And, GP is showing that with his toughness and, with the mindset that he has, you come out and you do what you do. But, you got to give credit to guys who show up in the playoffs because it's just not a normal thing around this league. You look around and some guys that you think are guys are not guys in the playoffs, and that's just what it is.
And that's basically how I feel about DeAnthony Melton right now. We've had the bubble. We've had last year's playoffs and play-in games. We've had this year's playoffs and play-in games. And at some point, you just have to put it in your head that this guy's not a playoff player. He's not going to be. Maybe he will later on in his career. He's young still, so maybe he will later on in his career. Maybe he'll step up to the occasion. But I don't think we can depend on that anymore as Grizzlies fans to see Mr. Do something in the damn playoffs. So that's another observation. Now, otherwise, the whatever Xavier Tillman brought in Game 2, it's probably gone. Him starting in Game 4 was probably a mistake by Taylor Jenkins. Probably should have started Kyle Anderson still. Brandon Clark only getting 29 minutes. Seems like a mistake. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, a steal, plus 13, 29 minutes. Seems like a mistake. Desmond Bane only getting 35 minutes, mostly because of foul trouble, but seems like a mistake. We said Ja Morant was injured. Dylan Brooks, foul trouble. That's the big observation, the foul trouble from the team. The refs were kind of horrible in this game. They were ultra horrible in the first quarter when the Grizzlies got out to a good start, had a 7-point lead, and then next thing you know, the foul fest started. Anytime when you have a player have 10 points in the first quarter and Karl-Anthony Towns has only taken one shot, yeah, it's one of those games. NBA refs were terrible, and, it's not like I'm the only one that thinks that. Taylor Jenkins also thought so.
Play better, but in my opinion, one of the most poorly officiated games I've ever seen in my NBA career. All 5 of our starters are borderline fouled out in the first quarter. 10-plus foul difference, 40 free throws. Yeah, some things we got to clean up and get better at, but I've never seen a more inconsistent and arrogant, officiated game. So I'll take whatever hits coming my way. I got to protect our guys. We know we've got to get better, but from the get-go, it was foul, inconsistency. There was actually one play where a foul whistle was blown before contact was even made. It's embarrassing, but I'm always going to look in the mirror and say, how do we play better? How do we coach better? But I'm at a loss for words, and I'm not going to go as far as saying that's the reason we lost, but I'm going to let it be known that that's messed up. And arrogance, inconsistency, and big fan, of the whatever.
So, yeah, despite the referees, despite the bad play from Jaren Jackson, despite the injury from Ja Morant, despite all this, despite being on the road, despite Karl-Anthony Towns having his best game, despite Patrick Beverley being 4 for 6 from three-point land, despite Anthony Edwards being 4 for 8 from three-point land, despite Jordan McLaughlin being 4 for 4 from three-point line, a freaking 31% free throw three-point shooter. Despite all that, the Grizzlies still should have won this game in the end. Missed free throws. They missed some free throws at the end. They missed 2 wide-open threes from Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones. You couldn't ask for better looks. Still should have won this game on the road, despite all of the BS. Despite all that, they still should have won. The Grizzlies shot well. Desmond Bane had an out-of-body experience, 8 for 12 from three-point line. Nobody on the Grizzlies shot more than 5 free throws. 3 players on the Timberwolves shot more than 5 free throws. So, like I said, there's really not much you can take from this game. We just got to hope that Ja Morant gets better physically and game-wise. And Jaren Jackson has to be better the next 2 to 3 games, however long it takes. He has to be better these last 3 games. If it goes 6 or it goes 7, he has to be better. Point blank. He has been the only one that hasn't shown up. So far in this series. He's had like one good half that he played in a 4-game series so far. So yeah, he has to do better. We need probably need some more Tyus Jones minutes. Maybe Tyus Jones could take the Melton minutes. I would like to see John Conchar play a little bit more. We'll see in those minutes. But Melton is only playing 7 minutes, and really those minutes can go to Tyus Jones. Step him up to 25-plus minutes instead of the 22 he played. Kyle Anderson can play a little bit more, I think. He did have 4 fouls in 22 minutes. The foul trouble, man, was ridiculous. 33 fouls in a game, man. 33 fouls in a game. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, there's not much else to say about this game. I'm going to just move on, go to the next game. Hopefully we'll have better performance at home in front of the home crowd in Memphis. We'll see exactly what goes on. The referees cannot be that bad again. I hope. Jeez. I thought this was playoff basketball, but it looks like it's just one of those random games in the middle of the season where the refs decide to be the show for the game, and it was kind of pathetic. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the season starts. We got to get there. So make sure you do that. And this is your boy, Memphis X, signing out.